Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful and blessed Easter yesterday. We talked last week about refreshing your spirit as part of our series, Refresh for Spring. So today, building on that, I want to address partly involving refreshing your spirit, refresh your self-image. And self-image grows from these seeds of identity and purpose that God created and planted within our souls. The soul is the essence of our identity. So our self-image must grow from what is going on with our spiritual identity. So it does build on what we talked about last week with refreshing your spirit. So today I want to talk about what specifically we need to do to have a healthy self-image, and that includes two parts. The inside of how we really personally understand who we are as a spiritual and personal character sort of person, who we are as our self, our core self. A lot of people struggle with the sense of identity and self-worth and significance. That is very important to focus on with regard to spirituality. And that's where we really struggle, because not all of us relate our sense of individual self to our sense of spirituality. And if we don't base it in that, it's not going to grow in a healthy, flourishing manner. So when we admit to ourselves who we are, it may not be who we want to be or who we're meant to be, but we must really take a good, honest look at who we are now and our sense of identity and purpose, who we are meant to be. Then we can sort of create a map and say, this is where you are. You know how you look on the map and you see the X, this is where you are, and this is where you want to go. So knowing where you are and where you need to get to helps you plot out the steps you need to take to get there. So it's not a sense of condemnation or judgment to look at where you are and what you're doing and whether it isn't exactly aligned with who you're meant to be. That's okay. The greatest thing about human nature is that we have volition. We have the capacity to choose to become something different. Every other creature will be what it has always been. Unless something is acted on it from outside to make it different, it doesn't tend to change. But we as human beings can choose to change. We have free will, we have choice. And that's the exciting thing about being a human being. It's a wonderful gift. So looking at who you are you who you were meant to be? So self-image first involves inner nurturing, looking deep inside to see who you are. Personal understanding of character is what roots us. And then as our seeds of character grow, then they grow to become what we give to the world. We either produce fruit or we don't. We can become just bitter plants that produce nothing of value, or we can become fruit-producing, flourishing, helpful, beneficial people that we have joy in our lives, and we, out of the outflow of who we are, we benefit and bless other people. And we can always become who we're meant to be, no matter where we've been. Past behavior is not necessarily a fated direction that we need to continue to follow for the rest of our lives. We could always make a change, and that's really exciting. So self-image is something we always have an opportunity to work on and improve. So there's a few things that I want to talk about with regard to your spiritual sense of who you are, your self-image. First of all, you're not a number. You're not a number. It's not a numerical thing. In fact, it does not involve the same mathematical principles as you would see in algebraic formations like FOIL, first inside, outside, inside, last. We're actually the opposite in our character. First inside, outside, last. Who we are inside is going to determine who we are on the outside. Even if you're trying to fake it and pretend that you're better off than you are on the inside, it will eventually crumble on the outside, and those things will come through. So you're not a number. You are not a weight. You are not a test score. You are not a salary. You are not a number. You're not just one number among many numbers. You are more than a number. If you look at an infant that weighs 5 pounds versus an infant that weighs 12 pounds, is that infant's significance or worth all wrapped up in the number of its weight, in the day that it was born, Absolutely not. Nobody would say that about a baby. So we wouldn't say that about you as an adult either. You are not a number. You are much more than that. You are unique. Everyone is different. But even though you are unique and you have unique value, you have individual value, you are also not alone. You are not so unique that no one else has any relevance to you. We all have shared things that we all can relate to and experience. So we're unique, but we are also part of a community. We are part of a whole as much as we are unique. It's not one or the other, it's both. We have different cultures. One culture may value individual sense of worth and purpose, and another culture may value only the extent to which you benefit the whole. And it's really neither of those.